Hello, my name is Jakob Munck. Welcome to this short video about one very important question. Maybe not for you, but it's very important for me. And the question is, are the Danes the most happy people in the world? Maybe you have read some of the surveys being shown in American papers showing that Danes should be the most happy people in the world. I just saw on video the other day, it was made by one lady called Helen Russell. I believe she was from the UK, but she had been living in Denmark for some years because her husband had a job. I believe maybe he was managing director of Lego in Billund in Denmark. And she's a journalist, and I've seen a speech she held where in London recently, talking about what she learned in Denmark. And also there are other American and English papers that has been reporting about this small, happy country. And because I've been living here for all my life, well, I'm very impressed that this should be the most happy country in the world. I've been in other countries too. I've been in many countries in Asia, in Europe, in Eastern Europe, and a lot of places around the world. And when you travel around, you get an impression of people being happy or unhappy, but you have to take care because the facial expression of a person is not always the same as his feeling of happiness. And maybe it's quite difficult to compare happiness from one country to another. But the surveys that Helen Russell and other journalists are referring to are surveys made in Denmark and the same way in other countries. And the way they find out that Danes are the most happy people in the world is simply by asking. You ask 100 Danes, how happy are you? And then you have a scale going from 0 to 10, and maybe the Danes, they say, I'm 8, I'm 9, I'm 6, 7, and then you take the average number and compare it to the average number for Germany, from Bulgaria, Australia, China, Vietnam, USA, and so on and so forth. And then you find out that the Danes are the most happy. Well, but I don't believe in that kind of sociology. Reason number one, if you want to know how happy people are, it's not enough just to ask them. Because you can teach a bird, the cockatoo, to say, I'm 100% happy. And you can teach anyone to believe that they are the most happy people in the world, as long as these people have nothing to compare to. They are very easy to indoctrinate. And I believe that the Danes themselves believe that they are among the most happy people in the world. Actually, many Danes, they have never really lived in other countries, so they have nothing to compare to. And even if they have been on some kind of tourist tour to another country, they have seen this country only as a tourist, and they haven't really studied the culture of this other country. So I don't think this sociological method is very scientific. It's purely subjective and not objective at all. But maybe we are more happy nevertheless in Denmark. And what could be the reasons? Well, I have at least two reasons. One reason is that around 25% of Danes they receive medical care, medicine for mental diseases. That means if you're depressed in Denmark, you just go to the doctor and he give you some pills, and that will hopefully raise your feeling of life quality. The second reason is that it is very easy to leave Denmark. If you're not satisfied with the condition here in this country, you can easily go to England, America, Australia, Germany, France, Russia, any other country you want, and probably you can stay there. Your Danish passport is a ticket that will invite you to travel to any country in the world and to stay there. And that means that all the Danes being not satisfied with the conditions in this country, they have just left the country. And that's the way it has been for more than 100 years. So there are, of course, in Denmark, people being happy and other people being non-happy. And the non-happy people, first of all, today they receive medical care. They are on psychopharmaca medicine against depression, and that goes for 25% of the population in Denmark, according to statistics. And second, people being non-satisfied, they can very easily leave Denmark and go to another country. But now comes my question to Helen Russell and the journalist and the sociologist that has been making this survey. If they believe it is true that Denmark is the most happy country in the world, the most happy people in the world, if this was true, then why don't we see a mass immigration from other non-happy countries to Denmark? We have a lot of people wanting to go to Denmark, but they are coming from poor countries, from countries being destroyed by USA and by terrorists and by war. I'm talking about a lot of immigrants coming from Libya, Syria, Iraq, from Africa, and from poor countries with civil war. They want to go to Denmark, and they want to go to any other country in Europe, not because we are so happy, but because they want to survive. If this survey saying that Denmark is the place where you're most happy in the world, if this was true, then why did Helen Russell travel back to UK? Why didn't she stay in Denmark? She can stay here for the rest of her life. Her husband can easily find a job. Why don't we see a mass immigration from UK, from USA to Denmark, from Germany to Denmark, from France, from Italy, from Spain? Why don't we see this immigration? Don't you think people want to be happy? Don't you think people want their children to be happy? And if they believed in this survey, they would have to move to be happy themselves. But the fact in the matter is that they don't do so. And the reason is one, and it is very simple. They don't believe this survey. They think it's just bullshit, just like I think myself. This survey that Danes are the most happy in the world, I think it's some kind of political motivated survey made by Americans that want to give a reward to the ever loyal Danes that always support America, no matter how much war and terrorism they create around the world. Denmark is an ever 100% loyal member of NATO. They always support American wars. Danish politicians have no morals of their own. They just follow the foreign policy of USA. because they believe that we do not have any possibility without being a small dog following a big dog. So this sociological survey is saying that Danes are more happy than all the rest of the world. It is, in my opinion, pure bullshit. If it was true, I'm sure we would have mass immigration from England, Germany, Europe, America to Denmark. Remember, all Europeans, and there are 500 million Europeans, they can easily go to Denmark. We are member of the European Union. They don't have to ask anything. They don't have to apply for a visa or anything. They can just take a train ticket and go to Copenhagen and live here. And if this is the most happy place in the world, then they'll certainly be happy. But the fact is that they don't do like that. The unhappy Danes, they take medicine, and the unhappy Danes, they immigrate to other countries, not at least to USA, but also to other European countries and Asian countries. That is the reason why Denmark has a very high score on these subjective surveys about what is the most happy country in the world. Thank you for listening.